execute Order 66.
This is one of the most chilling lines in Star Wars. It signaled the end of the Republic, the rise of the Empire,
Hold up. Wait a minute.
and the extermination of the Jedi Order in one fell swoop. The betrayal of the Jedi by the Republic and the clone troopers was a shock to fans back when The Revenge of the Sith came out. It continues to be a shock now that we've seen it portrayed again and again in animation, video games, and comics. But which one is best? Let's rank our top 10 Order 66 scenes and see if your favorite shows up. The 10th spot on our list goes to the portrayal of the Order 66 from the Skywalker saga. Not only is this the first LEGO Star Wars game to be fully voice acted, but we also have some serious humor that is the trademark of the LEGO Star Wars games and franchise.
Are you an angel? I've never heard of angels.
Chancellor Palpatine orders the clones to complete Order 67,
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
which causes clones on countless battlefields to begin dancing in perfect lockstep.
Execute Order 67.
Yes, my lord.
However, the order is soon corrected, and the massacre begins. Still, this being a LEGO game, death is very rarely shown. And a later clip shows Jedi defeated by the clones, but no real deaths. The Skywalker saga brings humor to a dark event in Jedi history, but that's all it does. In 2005, Star Wars Battlefront 2 video game, there is a level that takes place during Operation Nightfall. The clone troopers led by Anakin Skywalker attack the Jedi Temple, squaring off against the Jedi there, and the temple security guards. It is an extremely fun mission because for the most part, the Jedi are hero units and very hard to kill in the game. However, in this mission, you get to fight them with large amount of blaster fire. Being able to play as Anakin and experience the powers of the dark side for the first time is also extremely fun. The Revenge of the Sith tie-in game for the PS2 had you playing as Anakin Skywalker during Operation Nightfall. You get to storm the Jedi Temple and face off with various Jedi opponents. This game is notable for introducing Sarah Keto as an opponent and allowing you to duel and defeat her, before facing off against her master, Sindralig. While the Swordmaster of the Jedi Order is an extremely powerful opponent, Anakin and the player do prevail and put an end to the Jedi. The level is fun, as you use the game's lightsaber skills and force powers to fling Jedi around and slash your way through the temple. For those who grew up with the PS2, this is a fan favorite level. With the show taking place just after the fall of the Republic, it was inevitable that the Order 66 would be shown. After watching his master, Deba Balaba, die at the hands of the clones, Caleb Doom ran into the Clone Force 99. The Bad Batch was resistant to the Order due to their mutations, and attempted to help Caleb while they figured out what was going on. However, the young Jedi evaded them, and Hunter later attempts to stop Crosshair from firing on the boy before allowing him to escape. Not only did this scene show the beginning of Crosshair's betrayal, but also set the stage for the Bad Batch eventually leaving the Empire behind. This opening scene showed fans everything they could come to expect from the Bad Batch series, while also tugging at our heartstrings with another Jedi death. Throughout the Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries, we find that Reva Savander is one of the Empire's most ruthless inquisitors and is actively hunting both Kenobi and Leia Organa. But during a quieter moment, we see the reason for her obsessive actions. As a youngling, she witnessed Anakin Skywalker killing Jedi during Order 66, and was stabbed during the escape. Surviving by playing dead, she sought to get close to Vader to kill him as an Inquisitor. Again, her flashbacks, though brief, really show the horror of Order 66 and the trauma it left on every single Jedi who survived it. The flashbacks add to her story, give her some needed character development, and allow viewers to see her in a different light. Of course, we got to give credit to the movie for starting it all. From the moment that Order 66 was given on screen, the movie changed into something darker as we watch Palpatine's grand plan come to fruition. From watching the 501st Legion march on the Jedi Temple to seeing the montage of Jedi being slain all over the galaxy, it made millions of moviegoers sit up in their seats. Plus, at the time it was thought that Obi-Wan and Yoda were the only two survivors of Order 66, which made the scene all the more tragic. Every scene from the movie signaled the end of the Jedi Order, and at that time, that was a big deal. While the emotional payout is lessened since we know that more Jedi survived the Order, the scene still holds up and hits all the emotional buttons. Plus, it was the scene that started everything in the story that came after it, the deaths of the Jedi and the ending of those stories, the survivors and their stories that continued. All of it came from this movie and these scenes. In both The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, the Jedi, Grogu, is forced to come to terms with his past. That includes him remembering Order 66. So far in our ranking list, we have seen Operation Nightfall and Order 66 from the sides of both the clone troopers and the Jedi, but this time, we see the horror from a child's perspective. Having Grogu watch as his fellow Jedi were cut down by the very clones that they had fought beside was horrifying, especially since he didn't have the power to stop it or even a lightsaber to defend himself with. While Grogu's life was saved, watching his heroine escape from the Jedi Temple in Coruscant brought back the horror of what Order 66 was, especially when you remember that there were younglings at the temple who weren't as lucky as Grogu was. This episode kicked off one of the best and most heart-wrenching arcs in the Clone Wars. While on a mission, Clone Trooper Tup succumbs to a mental illness that forces him to shoot and kill Jedi Master Tiplar. The Republic attempts to send Tup back to Kamino for evaluation, but soon, both the Republic and the Separatists are chasing Tup down to get to the bottom of the issue. ARC Trooper 5 launches an investigation of his own. The Clone Wars TV show turned the clone troopers into people with names, faces, and personalities, and gave many of them a serious bond with their Jedi generals. A bond so strong that it seemed impossible that they would turn on the Jedi without at least asking for more information. But these are the episodes we do discover the inhibitor chips and how they override the brains of the clones. And we also get to see Five's downfall as he uncovers the plot, and very nearly reveals it before being gunned down. The arc sets up the Revenge of the Sith movie, as well as a later Clone Wars arc which is on this list. Cal Kestis is another Padawan whose story covered Order 66. As he and his master Jaro Tapal are on a Ventator above Braca, Order 66 is issued. While Tapal sabotages the ship, Cal is forced to flee into maintenance tunnels of the ship without his lightsaber. Again, it is another game that really shows off the horror of Order 66, as you are hunted down by clones without your lightsaber. While Tapal was mortally wounded during the escape, he was able to destroy an entire cruiser by himself. It is an interesting take on Order 66, because so far, we have only seen Jedi fleeing for their lives or being slaughtered. However, this time we actually get to see a Jedi fight back and do some serious damage to the clones. If more Jedi had been given time to get the upper hand, then perhaps more could have survived or even fought back against the new Empire. With Ahsoka having left the Jedi Order and later returning during Star Wars Rebels, fans were hoping that she had been able to avoid Order 66. However, the final season of Clone Wars saw Ahsoka trapped on a Venator with Rex, the 332nd Company, and Darth Maul when Order 66 was activated. While Rex attempted to fight off the inhibitor chip's control, he was unable to, and Ahsoka was forced to flee the clones. Circling back and with the help of some droids, she managed to free Rex from the chip using data he had gathered from Fives.
Freedom, 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 oi! Freedom, freedom!
While Rex was unable to stop his brothers from attempting to kill both him and Ahsoka, they were able to crash the Venator and escape with their lives in the final scene of the Clone Wars show. This scene not only shows the friendship between Ahsoka and Rex, but also has a nice explanation for why she was able to survive when so many other Jedi fell. In the Tales of the Jedi episode, Practice Makes Perfect, Anakin has Ahsoka train against clone troopers with stun blasts, and the training continued throughout the Clone Wars. Those skills allowed her to face off with the clones and survive Order 66. It's a scene that tugged at the heartstrings of the fans, sets up both Star Wars Rebels and the Bad Batch, and shows how a fan-favorite character was able to deal with one of the darkest events in Star Wars history. Make sure to check out whether or not another fan-favorite video game character may show up in canon next.